So I'm joining you right now from the sheep pen. We've ran sheep in this pen now for, what it'd be 3 years. And this was a fairly scrubby patch, very marginal. As you can see, a lot of slope to it, quite a bit of erosion, and just, really poor soil condition. And I just want to show you what the soil looks like now. So this is what the soil looks like now. Lots and lots of organic material, lots of carbon. So the thing with this, in this handful of soil that I have here, there's more microorganisms than humans that have ever walked the face of the earth. Billions and billions and billions of microorganisms in healthy soil. And what are they feeding on? They're feeding on carbon. So one of the big concerns is as soil is disturbed, what it's doing is it's releasing that carbon back into the atmosphere. You can see lots of good layer, nice dark soil there, very carbon rich. So that's why there's a big movement now to move towards like zero-till gardening and maintain that carbon balance in the soil, as opposed to working it up and releasing that back into the atmosphere. All right, so I just brought you over here now to our compost pile. Just reach in here, and it's nice and warm actually. It's not as hot as it was this summer. I bet if I got in there a bit deeper it would be. But you can see this rich, luscious, this is sheep manure, old bedding, old feed and stuff that was kind of going to waste. And as I said earlier, tens of thousands upon billions of microorganisms living inside this. So we put this, like by next year, this stuff will be ready, and what we'll do is we'll add it to, I guess, areas of ecological interest. So primarily on the hillside, where we've got water erosion issues, we're going to add organic material back in there to assist in slowing down that water, capturing that water, and allowing nutrients to leach back into the soil. And we're going to put a pile of it into our garden. Try and put as much of this as we can in the garden. So when you take a handful of this stuff, I'll just reach in there nice and deep. When you get a handful of it here, it's good, fresh. Take a smell. It doesn't smell at all like manure. It has no stank to it, right? It doesn't smell anaerobic at all. It just smells like really good fresh dirt. Almost like that smell you get when there's a rain about to happen. You can get that really good nitrogen smell in the air. That's what that smells like. So in this pile, we have probably 7 or 8 tons of manure mixed with straw and old hay. But it smells so good. Like you could put it, well, I wouldn't even have to put a blanket down, but you could, if you wanted to, put a blanket down and have a picnic right out here. It would just be a nice, gorgeous thing to do. Like, yeah, just delicious. Anyways, why this is important. So in North America right now, well, in the US, there's less than 5% of all farms that are using any soil conservation practices. And across the entirety of North America, there's less than 7% of farms that are using soil conservation practices. So what that means is in less than 60 years, 12% of the world's agricultural land will become non-viable for agricultural purposes. Think about that. Think about the impact to the food supply, to the human population. There'll be no more going back to the grocery store to get, whatever you want, whenever you want. It's not going to work like that. It's going to have a major, major impact. Anyways, as you can tell, I'm a big fan of regenerative agriculture as opposed to being more of an organic farmer. Sometimes chemical intervention is necessary, but one thing of note is, the guy that invented Zyklon B, the stuff they use in the gas chambers, this is also the guy that created chemically manufactured nitrogen. This is the stuff that, all the pellets that goes across the field now, as opposed to natural carbon nitrogen that we're adding, from giving back to the land, everything we're taking out of it. There's been a huge dependence on that stuff. And post Second World War, a lot of that technology, a lot of those processes came back to North America and was used in herbicides and pesticides. Now, what does that mean big picture? Well, if I've got tens of billions of organisms living in this pile and I spray pesticides on it, what's it going to do to that soil? All those organisms that are feeding off the carbon, that are delivering that then back into the soil, they're dead. The soil is dead, the soil isn't healthy. So this is an area here. This is where the old compost pile was. Carmen made me move it because that's the house right there. And she didn't really want to look at a, 10-ton pile of compost. Anyways, I stripped it all off and I moved it over there. And we've used that and then replaced it and so on and so forth over the last couple of years. But there was a big bare patch of soil here, and nothing was going to grow here because it was already starved. It was starved of oxygen and it was starved of light. And so all the weed seeds probably came up when everything warmed up, but then because there was no light, everything died off here. So now we put a round hay bale here. We've had the cows come in. They've stirred that up. A lot of those seeds are then going to propagate in this bare patch. So by next year, this will actually be a good section of pasture. It won't be bare like it is. You can see on the edges, right? It won't look like that. There'll be tons of grass here. All right, as you know, Halloween is fast approaching, and I was reserved to be Fogel for Halloween. Fogel, aka McLovin, aka Christopher Mintz-Plasse from Superbad. So I was just gonna get a white shirt with a long collar, a nice corduroy or suede dirt brown vest, and a jug of Tide. So if you've ever watched the movie, you'll know those references. It was gonna be the easiest costume I've ever pulled off. I literally would shave the mustache, put on the vest, and if you've ever seen like a picture of me from my youth, you would know that like I literally could have passed for this guy without really too much ado about anything. Anyway, so where am I gonna find a corduroy or suede vest or a shirt with the long collars anywhere else but the Value Village, the Goodwill, the thrift store? It's just not gonna happen, right? So on my lunch break today, I ripped to the Goodwill and I'm in the aisle and I'm looking. I can't really find the shirt I'm looking for, so I'm like, well, maybe I'll go for the vest first, and then the shirt will come. I'll figure out the shirt later on. So I'm thumbing through the vests and I come across the vest. Not the vest, not the brown suede, not the corduroy. No, I'm talking the one vest to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. So here it is, the Tilly vest. This thing has pockets inside of its pockets, inside of its pockets. There's more pocket, like there's so much room for accessories in here. And I was just like, abort, change of plan, no more McLovin. I'm going as a crocodile hunter. This is gonna be epic. All I gotta do is thumb through these shirts real quick, find something that, is either khaki or olive green or something, and this is gonna be complete. I already own khaki shorts. This is just gonna be boom, boom, boom. It's gonna be the best thing ever. Anyways, so I flip through two shirts. I find this drab olive shirt, and I'm just like, wow, like this is coming together so easily. And I look up, and so on one side of me, I have these teenage girls who are also looking for some Halloween ideas. On the other side of me, there's an elderly lady, and behind me, there's an Asian gentleman. And I look up, and obviously using my outside voice at this point in time, I said, the only thing that would complete this would be a stuffed crocodile. And of course, everybody looks at me in the Goodwill. You could hear a pin drop. So when I look out across the aisles, what do I see but, hey, Mr. Crocodile. And I was just like, like it's meant to be. Like it's meant to be. So I retrieve this stuffed crocodile. Well, I thought it was a stuffed crocodile. I find out later after the fact it's actually a dinosaur. But in the moment, I'm like, no, that's the crocodile that's going to complete this whole ensemble, and it's fantastic. So anyways, I retrieved this from beside a plastic fire truck, and I noticed he has a little push button here, and I'm like, oh, even better. He's going to make like cute crocodile noises or something like that. So I'm looking around, like the little old lady's watching me, the teenage girls are watching me, the Asian dude is like, what's going on with this guy? And I can't help myself. I gotta push the button. Yeah. So needless to say, I don't even know what to say. Halloween's gonna be a blast. Anyways, I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.